Hey guys, welcome to another interview here on Sharing Hope. I am your host today, Michael DiMuccio, and joining us is film producer Katie Norris. Katie founded Fotolanthropy as a passion and a need intersected in her life, and she started that, becoming the CEO, started this startup and which has become now nationally recognized. And she's documented 25 stories of people who defy the odds. So from a nonprofit now to a nationally recognized, and what a great journey she has had as she's covered these stories. In 2013, as a rookie film producer, she oversaw an award-winning feature documentary, Travis, A Soldier's Story. And this featured a man who was a quadruple amputee serving the United States Army staffs as a staff sergeant, Travis Mills. As that screened around the country, every single screening got a standing ovation. In 2015, Katie produced another feature-length documentary, The Luckiest Man, sharing an unconventional narrative of Dallas businessman John Paine, who lives courageously with ALS for over 15 years, when the doctors said, I think 3 to 5, that he would have to live after being diagnosed. Fotolanthropy now, their team is currently working on their newest documentary, 7 Yards, the Chris Norton Story. And now to help fund Fotolanthropy, Katie has also founded Photostrap. It's an American-made brand of genuine leather camera straps. It's in both Photostrap and Fotolanthropy have been featured on numerous national media outlets, including Fox, CNN, The People. Fotolanthropy films have been featured on Netflix, iTunes, Pureflix, Amazon Prime. Now, as a graduate of Baylor University, Katie was recognized as the university's Young Alumna of the Year in 2014. She's also been named finalist of Dallas's Foundation's, quote, Good Works Under 40 Award, unquote. And she has was recently awarded with World Changer Award, which was presented by President Linda Livingstone of Baylor University. And Katie is a family woman. She's got 2 children, likes her adventures to the Colorado mountains. And so, Katie, glad to have you, and thank you for joining us on Sharing Hope.
Well, thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here, and let me thank you for what you guys are doing and serving so many in this season by sharing hope. So I'm really thankful to be a part of it.
Awesome. Now, as someone who has produced films of those defying the odds, here we are in COVID now. How have you been, quote unquote, defying the odds as a film producer? How have you and your family and your team have been, navigating through this?
Well, gosh, I don't know if I'm defying the odds, but we're okay. And I think right now that's enough. We are so thankful that where we were just at Fotolanthropy, that we had a finished product right before this happened. So for us, we are so thankful that we were able to get that done before all this started. And as a family, and then just being part of Fotolanthropy, I'm really, as I've been looking back, just really thankful because the people that we've served over the years at Fotolanthropy, many of the stories, their life changed in an instant. A football tackle, a terminal diagnosis, an IED bomb. They had no heads up. They were just living life. And as hard as all this has been, and we had, hints that maybe something like this would happen one day, I'm very thankful for the gracious time that we had right before to kind of prepare ourselves that something is happening here. Life might change a lot and a storm is coming. And so, being able to study people like Travis Mills, who lives with no arms and legs, and knowing that he has a fulfilled life, I think I was able to kind of look at what we were about to go through. And it was really neat because we make these films in hopes that it'll serve hope and that maybe something will resonate with people so that when they do face their own adversity, which we all know we will, and right now we all are, we're going to be able to give them tools that they can have when they face this. So for me and our family, I just remember taking a deep breath as we were driving home from our spring break, what a lot of people were doing, knowing that what we were coming home to was going to be a lot different. Life was going to be different. And I knew then in March that I had a choice to make. And that choice was, we've got to endure this well. This is happening. Mm-hmm. And I knew if we could stay positive and feed ourselves positive things, that this will pass and that we will be able to get through this, and we can hopefully overcome graciously. And our family has been trying to do that. I remember pulling into our neighborhood, kind of that daunting moment of like, life already feels different. I could see people social distancing, and one of my friends' kids wrote on their windows, "Don't lose hope. God is at work." And gosh, that little sign those kids made just has given me so much peace. And I'll walk around the neighborhood just to go see it. And that sign, it's funny what you do and you never know who it's going to impact. Right. I remember thinking, I know I need to step it up a gear so I can be the mom to my children that they need, and I can get through this. And I need to make sure I'm in the Word and listening to good things like your program today and all the people you've interviewed. And I wanted to study God, who was at work. And I just one day sat down in the beginning. I was like, I've got to start from the beginning. And I've read the Bible in spouts throughout the years. And I embarrassingly admit, I just never sat down from cover to cover. And that's one of the things I've been doing. And it's been really a neat way just to get close to the God who I know is at work, and that we could look to and trust that, we all can overcome, and hopefully we all can come out better out of this.
That's right. It's funny. I was just talking to a friend the other day, and one of the main things that just kept coming up in our conversation was trust God, trust God, and you just mentioned that yourself. And really that's, as believers, where we always are, so it's neat to hear how you are navigating through this, as well as God's timing of finishing up that project, like you said, right before all this happened. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the launching of Fotolanthropy. It says in your bio that it was a need intersected with a passion. So talk through, the flow of that, and then how you practically birthed this Fotolanthropy in reality.
Well, I'd had my own photography business and was building that and loved it. And I was doing my passion as my career. And I always wanted to make sure I was just kept that passion intact. And all of a sudden I had a burning desire and stirring in my heart that I want to maybe just go give back in some way. And my husband encouraged me. He's like, why don't you go maybe look at some nonprofit work? That would be a great outlet for you, and you could just go serve. And it's just about being with people. That's why you love what you do. And I said, that's great. And that's what I'm going to do. And I spent all day looking at things I could get involved with. And then I just had that crazy idea. I wasn't seeing what I wanted to do. And what I wanted to do was specifically go serve people that are hurting, but also for me, I think seeing someone overcome adversity to do that, I think it's so beautiful. I think there's nothing more beautiful. And, we could all think about those movies we love, like when Rudy gets to go out on that football field and he has that moment. I mean, there's something that just lights me up when I see someone, see the underdog come up, and I had that feeling, and I came up with the idea. I came up with the name Fotolanthropy and just kind of put that idea under the rug. And I just thought, who am I? I'm 20 something years old. Who am I to start this thing? And I think God had a different plan though, because I asked my husband, Reese, I was like, can we just pray about this Fotolanthropy idea? I cannot get it off my heart. And it was really amazing because we did, and not a few hours later, I get a call out of the blue from a mom. I could barely understand what she's saying. She's sobbing. And she said, "My name is Kara. You don't know me, but someone told me you could help me. And my son is 8 months old and has just been diagnosed with brain tumor. Can you come take pictures of him? He's got the most beautiful hair, and I just want to preserve him." And I remember just sitting at my desk, my phone, and just looking up and just saying, like, "I got it," and just with tears in my eyes, just said, "Yes, Kara, I would love to be there. And this is what we want to do for you." And, I laugh. I feel like I actually got a phone call for the calling in my life, and that's what it started.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful for that, though, because it was so clear. And in the hard times of Photolanthropy, or having to stretch myself to seek donations to make these projects, all of it, I have that phone call to lean back to. I know this is what I was called to do. And I'm so thankful for that clarity. And we were able to go serve her, and her son did pass away a few weeks later. But that little boy, James, is why we're here today. And we saw what that film and those photos did for her. And that started everything. So that it was the phone call that changed everything. So
wow. And God gave you like a tailor-made opportunity.
Yeah.
And to really the verse that's coming to my mind is being faithful with little, and then he says, "I'll put you in charge of much." And another verse, "Do not despise small beginnings," right? And here it was right there, and it was the beginning of that. Wow, that's an interesting story. And I like the analogy you made of my calling was a phone call. Now, in 2013 was a breakthrough year for you as you grew in this. And all of a sudden, you do this documentary on the Travis Mills story. How did that come about? Take us, maybe back up to that phone call of young James, and how did all this come about in 2013 with the Travis Mills story?
Yeah, so after James passed, we took some time because it was emotional, just to be with someone so close in such a hard time. And we just came together as a team and knew this was something special. This is a way we could go serve. And we got to do some incredible stories. We would get phone calls. These are very hard phone calls to get. But for example, I got a phone call from 3 different people that nominated an amazing young woman named Bailey, whose husband had terminal cancer. But they just had this incredible attitude, and they asked, can we gift them Fotolanthropy? And those are so hard, but I'm so glad we've been able to come up with a way that we can give them something so tangible. Because at the end of the day, with those loved ones, we want their memory and films and photos, and those things will be so valuable for generations to come. We got a phone call from a family that their dad was diagnosed with terminal cancer, and he wanted to surprise his daughters with a wedding walk, and he wanted to walk them down the aisle, and we got to be a part of that. And so it just kind of through grassroots just organically grew. We did what we could with very little. That's neat that you said that verse. And then I got a phone call, and I just had this really high hopes to do a story of someone in the military. And all of a sudden on Facebook, I see this picture of a guy, Travis Mills. If you're watching this, just please Google Travis Mills so you can see him. And what was remarkable is at the time he didn't have any prosthetics on, so he has no arms and no legs, but this huge infectious smile. And I stopped in my tracks and I said, who is this guy? And I have never felt this tapping from the Lord so much. And I just felt like, you got to call this guy. And I showed my husband, Travis, and figured out that he is one of 5 quadruple amputees from the wars in Iraq. And he just got home and was recovering at Walter Reed. And me and him just couldn't sleep that night. I thought, we got to go call him and figure this out. So I called Travis and I tell him, hey, we're a film nonprofit in Dallas. We'd love to come gift you with a portrait session and do a short story of your film. That's what we were doing at the time, 5-minute film. And he said, great. I'm going to be at home at Fort Bragg next week. Can you come next weekend? And without a thought of how much money that would cost and the logistics of getting there, I said, yes. And it just, that yes changed my life. I showed up on his front door, and he was in his short legs. And so just this huge infectious personality. And I just fell in love with them immediately. I just knew that I was just so glad to be there. And, I'm interviewing him and I'm looking at him thinking, here's someone that's given both arms and legs for me, for my family. Like, we got to get, what's our all? What does that mean for us at Fotolanthropy? So we get on the plane, and that's when we had the wild idea. Let's make a full feature documentary. Let's do it. I mean, we've got the interview, we've got the content, we could do this. And we went on Kickstarter and raised, I think we asked for like $12,000. And we said, everyone just donate your time. We'll get it done for Travis. And amazing miracles happened. Like the Army let his combat medics come and be a part of it. People came together, and the hope was to have an amazing night where I dreamt of what if people just got to see his story and applaud him, and just say thank you for being who you are and being such an inspiration for us. That was my goal. And it's so cool to see what God did, because over 500 people came out, and we put together this huge red carpet premiere for him. We were all so nervous. And the film is over, and then just everyone gets on their feet, and people are bawling. And then Travis realizes what's happening, and he, it takes a lot for him to get up. He gets up, he turns around and gets to see all these 500 people just cheering for him, and just to think about him on the ground that day, thinking probably he's not going to survive. He had a 6-month-old daughter that he knew he was fighting for. To see that moment for him was worth every bit of stress or adversity our team had, just to give him that moment. And so that's when Fotolanthropy kind of went to a new gear. It was an incredible thing to be a part of, and to experience everything we did with everyone in that room. And then we thought it was over. And then we wake up the next day, and people start calling. They heard about it from all different cities and said, we want this film. We want to get you all here. We want Travis. We want to get the color guard. We want firemen, policemen. They're going to line the red carpet to honor him. And it was just incredible. And we went around. This was before I had kids, and just got to go celebrate the military community and their strength. And
wow,
awesome.
That is wild. That is wild. And it's funny, I was going to ask you, how did you market this? Here's 500 people applauding, and then this thing grows and grows. And so really, I'm imagining a lot of it was like social media and or word of mouth.
Yeah. I mean, I think what we do at Fotolanthropy is we try to match the strength of the person that we are telling their story. So yes, grassroots, the kindness of other people, sharing social media, and then just emailing, getting the news media involved. They were so gracious. They loved Travis's story, so we were really lucky there. And then it turned into things like the Patriots found out about it, and they, 60,000 people, they played the trailer, and Travis got to walk out, and he got a standing ovation with 60,000 people. It was unreal, but I think people love those kinds of stories, those good, uplifting, those comeback stories, and people just loved it. And they still love him. He's infectious. And I attribute so much of it because Travis, who he is. Yeah.
Amen to that. And looking back, you now understood the the tapping on the shoulder from the Lord.
Oh my gosh.
I have plans for this guy. I've got plans with this story. That's so cool. Let me ask you this, and I don't want to put you too much on the spot, but of these 25 stories that you've documented, is there one that really like stands out or really hits home for you? Or I can let you off the hook a little bit. Are there elements, you know, of the underdog thing that really hits home for you? Like, you know, speak to that. You know, what does Katie kind of thrive on?
Gosh, you know, that's so hard to answer because I get so deeply connected. But I think right now, if I were to answer that question today, our past 3 stories, if I can kind of cheat a little bit and combine them, are we didn't plan it to be this way, but they're about 3 different men in 3 different situations are trapped in their bodies. ALS, a quad amputee, and a young man that was paralyzed through a football tackle. And in this season of life, I've been drawing so much from them because in a sense, I feel that we're all trapped right now and we all feel a little paralyzed with fear of not knowing what's going to happen. But there's not a day that goes by that I don't think of what these guys have said or members of their family that I've spoken to that doesn't give me hope, because I know I can have hope because I know these guys, even in the midst of that, they have wonderful, fulfilled lives. And I try to really lean to what they've done to be able to have that positivity in their lives, even in their circumstances. And so I think for me right now, just looking at them and seeing the way they're living and the way they chose a positive attitude and they have no quit in them and they know God's purpose for them, it gives me peace that, you know, we're going to be okay. And I think right now, just that alone is giving me a lot to connect with and process. And as we're trying to do this each day as our family. So it's hard. I'm sorry. I can't pick up.
Oh, no, that's fine. That's why I kind of gave a,
yeah.
I'm putting myself in your shoes as I'm asking the question. I'm thinking it's kind of hard to say which one, you know, that's why I was like, are there elements of these that really, you know, push out or stand out in your mind, you know? But here we are. Let me shift gears a little bit. We're in uncertain times, you know, we keep hearing that on commercials and the media, so on and so forth. But one of the things that we like to ask on Sharing Hope to our contributors and those we're interviewing is simply, you know, was there before this time? Obviously, no one's gone through COVID before, but was there an uncertain time in your own life that you're kind of drawing from? I know a lot of what you've said is you've drawn from some of these stories you've covered, but what about in your own journey? Like, has there been an uncertain time where you've seen God kind of pull you through or help make sense of it?
Gosh, you know, for sure. Oh man. I think even just the journey of doing something like this and following the call.
Yeah.
He is, I mean, everything that you see or it's all because of him. And one of the ways personally for me, in our family is we had a very long battle with infertility to get our first daughter, Rose. It was a 3-year wait. And it was the best day on earth when we found out she was on her way and had her, and God carried us through that. And the timing was perfect, as we always can say once we're through that season. And then after 3 years of infertility, we get pregnant. I mean, I couldn't believe it. And we were so excited. And then we found out that it looked like we were going to miscarry. And
wow,
it was heart-wrenching. I remember thinking to so many people that have gone through miscarriage, it just built so much compassion because it was as hard as I thought it was going to be. It was harder. It was just trying to accept what was happening and the sadness and the love I already had for that child. And, you know, but what was neat, 2 things come to mind. John Paine, who we did the film The Luckiest Man, he's ALS.
Mm.
I remember him saying one of the ways that he helps get through the hard days is he goes and serves others.
Wow.
And I remember just thinking, I need to go serve someone else because I'm feeling this cloud. And, you know, this is what happened, but I need to keep going. I need to keep moving forward. And that's when I ran into Chris Norton Story and saw this incredible young man who had been in a football tackle, was paralyzed, completely defying odds. And I saw that need for my personal life, that I want to go serve this family. I need to grieve, but I want to go dive into something and serve and study someone who's gone through something so unimaginable. It's been a long journey for him, 7 years. And that really helped keep my head up, you know?
Mm.
I'm really thankful for that advice. It's not to ignore the pain, but it was just something to go serve into something good and of hope. And I'm seeing that again in this season. Like, I just got to keep pouring in good and trying to go do good things. But God really showed up and kind of gave me this story that I've been able to help bring to life and help carry me through. But you know, and it's helped me have a huge heart for the infertility community. And gosh, I would love to be able to tell their stories one day, because
Wow.
Man, there's to watch people just fight for their families is beautiful. And I will say too, just with Medi-Share, I remember just this sweet angel, I want to say her name was Teresa, called me. They were aware of what was going on, and she prayed for me. And I remember that day where I was sitting, and she spoke scripture over my life, and it was amazing. So thank y'all for providing that. I mean, it's something I've never forgotten, and it gave me a lot of hope that day.
Amen. That's so good to hear. And yeah, we thank you for mentioning that. We do have a culture of prayer, and thank you for sharing something so near and dear to your heart. Appreciate you being vulnerable with that. Let me shift gears into maybe something.
Wait, to get hope, I'm so sorry to interrupt, but the best news about it is
yeah, go ahead.
We got pregnant the day we lost our child. We got pregnant to that day 1 year later.
Oh my word.
We got a cute little boy named Redmond now. So that it did end well. So just, I don't want to leave.
Amen. No, that's so good. Yes, that's so good. That's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. See, and that's the blessing. And it's funny. This wasn't part of my my questioning in my mind when I was going to interview you, but I've noticed your use of the word serve. I think that's just so important, even in the body of Christ, where we're taught serve, but it seems like in this generation, there's a lot of serving myself, and maybe it's attributed to the age of, our social media, or who knows, or marketing, or I don't know. But, I'm so thankful. I just wanted to take almost like a time out and say, thank you for using that word serve, because that is where the believer is supposed to be, I believe, in every situation. And even what you just said, in your time of greatest need, your time of greatest pain, I'm going to go out and I'm going to serve someone else. And then look how sweet the Lord just rewards that, But I'll use that as a segue into something I wanted to ask you about is, speaking of rewards, you received many awards, from President Baylor, Mrs. Livingstone, and received that award and many others. Talk about those times that you've been, blessed in your journey like that and received such accolades.
Oh, I mean, it was just so humbling. I just answered the phone call, and I just knew that's what we needed to do. And so those things were so nice, and they came into times when, you know, this is hard. It's just creating a nonprofit and business. There's a lot, and there's a lot of sacrifice. So those were just so encouraging, and that God put those together, and I, you know, see them as, yes, I got those, but I just wish the whole team and all the people that backed us could have all been there, because it wasn't just me. I mean, it was all these people, and then these incredible people that were getting to tell their stories. And what's been really neat too is, you know, we always know God's at work, and he's at work behind the scenes, and he does things that we don't even realize what he's doing until years down the road. And to see what kind of doors those awards have opened, even with this new film, 7 Yards, it really was just such a gift, because it's just been able to open doors that I don't know would have been opened elsewise. And so I've gotten to really connect with just some amazing leaders in the industry, and been so thankful. So I'm very appreciative of those, and know that they were a tremendous gift. So
awesome. And why don't we start wrapping things up by just I want to ask you, like, you know, I know you're doing the 7 Yards, the Chris Norton Story. Any upcoming projects after that? If you want to speak toward, you know, the 7 Yards project, or release dates or things of that nature, or upcoming things you have, just want to get an open door for that.
Man, we have gone all in on 7 Yards. It has been a massive project. It's been over 2 years. We went out and raised funds for it. We've, you know, filmed for over 1.5 years, and the story is about a young man who was paralyzed in a football tackle accident, had a 3% chance to ever move again. And you might have seen, if anyone's watching, you might just search Chris Norton. He's the one that walked across the graduation stage, and he basically, his story just touched the world. 300 million people watched this moment. And this film tells the full story. Now he's an adopted dad of 5 beautiful girls. I mean, it's just incredible. It's remarkable. And right now we are, with the entertainment industry changing, stopping, we are just so grateful we have a finished product. And we are having some amazing conversations, and I hope very soon you're going to get to see 7 Yards on a major platform. And what we've said these past few years is that it's a documentary that will inspire you to overcome, and that will serve hope. And it's just pretty amazing to see the timing of when it's been completed. And we really feel that this movie was made for this season, to serve people in their homes or hospitals. People right now are just looking for something good, and we know and feel that this film could uplift them. So we're very, very excited, and working behind the scenes while managing families to find that home. And then after that, we've also got another incredible project of a pastor that actually rode across the country on his bike, having conversations about faith and people. And it's also really amazing, because that one's in post right now. So we're going to just continue to tell these stories, but those are the main 2 we're working on right now.
Sure. And let me affirm to those who are viewing, I showed 2 of Katie's trailers to the marketing team. After the second one, they were weeping again. They said, "You're not allowed to show these anymore," but they want more, you know, but they were just saying that facetiously. You know, but these stories are very moving. And I'll tell you what, there's an excellence in which Katie and her team bring to the table. With that, I would just kind of close things out by saying, Katie, how can people get more Fotolanthropy stuff, or Katie Norris stuff?
Oh, well, so Fotolanthropy, it's spelled Fotolanthropy. It's there for you. Go to the website, and these stories are there for you. That's why we've made them. You could also find our films on iTunes and Amazon Prime, Pure Flicks, and we'd love for you to go check them out. And we hope they can bless your family. And then I'm just Katie Norris Photo on Instagram. And if you want to see those 2 miracle babies, we're there and just trying to share the story of raising kids and making movies and all that. But we'd love for y'all to just to go experience those. We hope you could search categories if maybe you're, facing something in your life. I hope there's something there that you could connect with and experience and find hope. So.
Wow. Thank you, Katie, so much. What a pleasure to have you. I want to take this opportunity to thank those of you that have tuned in and joined us. And Katie, we want to thank you for joining us and thank you for sharing hope.
Thank you guys so much. Best wishes to everyone out there.